Good afternoon, fellow citizens of Nigeria. My name is Justadetoun. So I just got a call now. So there's a boy who then just buy now for Abeokuta. He never reached 1 hour. The boy don't buy. Now, so they said these students, this teacher bought dustbin and then put it in the classroom and told the students that they should not break it. Jokingly, the boy said, is it not that money people used to buy it? The teacher found it offensive and went to report to the principal. I'm doing this video. I'm calling the attention of the Commissioner of Police, the Inspector General of Police, Commissioner for Youth and Development. I've already spoken to her. The PAM said, the governor of Ogun State, everybody involved, all of you should come out. Now, the principal now instructed the teacher that he should discipline the students. This teacher went ahead and gave these children 64 strokes of the cane each. Whilst he was beating them, Ariyo started to throw, collapsed and hit his head on the floor. Ariyo was rushed to the hospital. Even before they rushed him, the teachers abandoned him there. Along the line, they saw that he was unresponsive. They took him and rushed him to the hospital. Ariyo got to the hospital. Ariyo don't die. Ariyo don't die. Ariyo don't die. Call the driver for me. Let's go to the now. 162. Ariyo buy finish. A particular government official is giving directive and instruction that they should go ahead and bury the boy immediately. A boy that just died not even up to 1 hour as I speak to you people. Please, yo! Now, how can you beat a boy because of dustbin? 164 strokes of the cane. Commissioner, Governor Adetoun. Oh, Jesus Christ. I'm just telling you this so that everybody will be aware. I am on my way to Abeokuta. And anything will happen for that school, and me and that minister, the commissioner, I be that government official, I'm ready to stand by it. I'm ready to stand by it. If anybody need that costume money, bury that child before I get to Abeokuta, and you people will understand who Justadetoun is.
Well, you just watched our very next guest in that video expressing a lot of anger over the death of a student in a secondary school in Ogun State, southwest of Nigeria. Well, for everything about the issue she addressed there, namely the death of Monday Ariyo, we're now being joined by Adetoun Onojobi, Lanre-Adeniyi, an activist, nutrition consultant, musician, and founder of an NGO called Feed a Child Community Initiative. It's good morning. It's great to have you here. Let's go into the specific details about what has emerged about this punishment, the alleged punishment that led to this young boy's death. How exactly the school and local authorities responding so far? And when we look at the accountability measures that should be put in place to prevent educators from crossing boundaries in disciplining students, let's talk about that as we start off this interview.
All right, good morning, everyone, and thank you for having me. First of all, the attitude that we've received on this case is the most disappointing I've encountered since 2015 that I've been a field worker. Most times when we raise awareness, we call to action for things like this, we've always seen government officials being supportive, the police trying to be supportive. I'm not saying fully supportive, but this is the most disappointing that I've seen. First of all, when that news came to me from the UK, and I saw the videos, the first person I spoke to was the Commissioner of Youth and Development, because basically I have contact of almost all of them. And then I called the First Lady. Unfortunately, she was airborne. And the lady just said to me, the woman said to me, oh, she's not even in her constituency, she's somewhere, and then she's going to tell someone to call me. 6 hours down the line, no call, and I had to call the PA to the governor. And the guy started to make phone calls, and then the Commissioner of Education and I, we spoke. And the guy vehemently said, Madam, this is highly unexpected, that because from the very first time he resumed office as a Commissioner of Education, he said it that no student should be flogged. No matter the level of crime, don't beat any student. But, you know, I don't understand what is going on in Ogun State. And Ogun State is beginning to make my governor in Lagos State look like a champion, because I don't think this will happen in Lagos State, and we are still at this level. we're still at this level because as at the time I got to Abeokuta yesterday, as a matter of fact, my journey was for Abeokuta, and then when we got to Abeokuta, we realized that it wasn't even Abeokuta, it was Obada, close to Imota, Imeko. When we got there, the principal was nowhere to be found, no hospital around there, no local government chairman to be spoken to. The only thing that I kept on hearing and I confirmed was that some government officials still came there and that they were begging the families to go and bury the boy, and then they gave them cash and a letter. And as at the time I spoke to the Commissioner of Education and the Commissioner of Youth and Development and the First Lady, my instruction was that they should release a press statement and then let the people be aware that the government is on it, and then let them sympathize with the family. They all denied that they are not aware of the case. I spoke to the Commissioner of Police, and the Commissioner of Police told me that he was just hearing about the case from me. Now, going to Obada Idimu was quite an eye-opener, because we realized that the case even happened on the 15th of October, and then the boy had been taken from one place to the other. They've done a brain surgery on him. They found out that he had internal bleeding, and they've tried to do surgeries on him as well. And then when everything proved abortive, that was when they moved him to FMC. And at FMC, he died a night before, and the hospital refused to disclose that information to the families. So it was when someone who took his own wife there to give birth found out that there were arguments, and then there was, some kind of strange movement. He started to do a video recording, and a government official came there and told them not to to go ahead and bury the boy. Now, in all of this, sometimes we have to go low to call the attention of the general public to this. And I must say that for no reason, the generation that we are today, there shouldn't be any reason why any teacher should raise his hand up to flog a child, less telling the children to do frog jump. And the alarming thing is there were over 120 students that were flogged. 3 collapsed and they were admitted to the hospital. A beautiful young girl broke her bones, and then they had to do orthopedic, local, whatever they call it, and then to fix the bones together. And then 8 teachers were the ones who mounted on those children and were beating them in a barbaric form. And then these teachers have absconded, and there's only one that is being held down now.
All right, Adetoun, thanks for setting the tone. I know that this is a very wrenching kind of story, but then I believe that, like me, many Nigerians may not be conversant with what is actually going on. Are you able to give us a bit of context to what is happening? We can see the emotional part of it and the allegations that are horrendous. But then from Abeokuta to Obada, which school are we dealing with? Who is Ariyo, who unfortunately is no more? And what is the context to all this? Teachers went haywire and tried to discipline a number of students, flog them to death. And what actually happened? What context do you have before it got to social media? Because as far as I know, I'm not sure that this is in the mainstream media yet. Has the police been formally informed? Which hospital are we dealing with? Who are the parents? And have they formally lodged a complaint to the authorities beyond the intervention that you are providing?
All right, so Monday Ariyo is an SS2 boy in grammar school. It's somewhere in Obada in Abeokuta. So from the information that we gathered, talking to the victims, they said that the teachers bought some dustbins and then told the students not to break it. And then Monday Ariyo said, but this dustbin, you bought it with our funds. And then the teacher got angry and then reported to the principal. And then the principal gave instruction that they should discipline all the students. On disciplining all the students, they told all of them to get on the field, and then they started to stroke all of them, all the SS2 and SS3 students, gathered together, boys and girls, and then they started to beat them. Along the line, some of them passed out, and the teachers didn't care. So they said that Ondiboni, according to what the student said, that when he's ready, he'll wake up and continue with the strokes. Ariyo started to throw up. Ariyo was feeling very weak. Ariyo fell down and hit his head on the floor. From there, the teachers didn't do anything. One of the students ran to Ariyo's mother's home, which is close to the school, which I saw yesterday, called the mom, and then Ariyo's parents came over to the school, picked Ariyo up, and then rushed Ariyo. There is no health center around there, so they took him to, I think, one of the private hospitals, and then from there to Adetoun, which was still far, and then from there, struggling in between hospitals, and then from there they took him to FMC Abeokuta when they realized that the situation wasn't improving. And then on getting to FMC Abeokuta, they also did a surgery on him. As at the time I spoke to the Commissioner of Police on Friday, the Commissioner of Police confirmed to me that he was not aware of the case, that he was just hearing about it for the first time. They said they've gone to the police station and the police people refused to do anything with them. Even when they wanted the death certificate and all of that, they wanted police report and all of that, they still couldn't get anything. So as at yesterday when I spoke to the Commissioner of Police, he picked up my call, but his attitude was below par. For that kind of a sensitive case, I was expecting the police to give me the assurance that, Madam, we're on it. And all he told me was that, hey, Madam, you don't have to call me. I have spoken to the person you gave me a contact, and I've told her to go to the DPO. And if there's anything, let her get in touch with me. And the families are complaining that their life and safety was at risk because the whole community was beginning to threaten them that why would they want to report this case and why would they want this case to be in the media. So for me, all the government officials, their attitude has been poor, and I don't think this case is receiving the attention that it should receive. All they are interested in is Ariyo should be buried and let bygone be bygone, and the story should be forgotten.
All right, Adetoun, I would like to thank you very much for the good work that you've done here. I understand that you're just coming back from Abeokuta and you went to visit the parents of Monday, 18-year-old boy who died. Our condolences to the family. One thing I took away from what you've just said was about the culture of discipline in Nigerian schools. I understand that you have spoken to the Commissioner of Education, and he had, talked to you about the community leaders who had come to his office to challenge him on the directive, I believe, that he gave about flogging students in school. Can you walk us through that and what you think needs to be done to, maybe educate more teachers, the schools, and some sort of act that can be passed in order to avert this sort of disaster and tragedy that befell this young boy and his family?
So what we intend to do is I've given them 48 hours, and then after 48 hours, I'll be in Abeokuta tomorrow, have a meeting with the Commissioner of Education. In all fairness, the man was very responsive and responsible to his core responsibility and upholding the fact that this generation of children that we are dealing with today are quite sensitive. Yoruba people will say, Toma ni obati tekuida, aibere kuto kwababaini. But you see this young generation, they want to ask questions, they want to know everything. That was why Monday said, is it not our money that you use them buying this? Moving forward, I think we need to raise the awareness. If the government is failing to protect us or understanding that these children must be protected, I think we need to start to agitate more and let government know that it's a core and principal responsibility for these children to be protected. I feel it has to be made a legal law. They need to pass this law and authorize a firm and then push a lot of advocacy to the system, to the educational system, that no child should be struck, no child should be flogged, no child should be beaten. We're in a society where we're agitating and, advocating for more avenues where we need to sit these children down, talk to them, advocate to them, make them understand what their responsibilities are, and then what the government owes them. So I think I've also made an attempt to have a meeting with the Speaker of Ogun State, and then we want to take this complaint. We're going to petition all the government officials that I've spoken to. We're going to petition them. My lawyers are on it already. We're going to make the government, the system, know that they were very unresponsive to this. But moving forward, it has to be a law law in our society now that you cannot flog these children. The economy is hard. You don't know what everybody is carrying. Some of these children haven't even had 3 square meals. Some of these children only went to school, with the hope that, it's free education. Let's just go. Let's just, run away from home. Let's just go and learn one thing or the other. Some of them went to schools on empty stomachs. Some of them don't even have good health status. We all know what it is. 3 square meals used to be in our own days, not anymore now. A lot of parents can't afford. So if we push in for the investigation, we realize that even 70% of those students, I'm sure they didn't have breakfast. And they come to school and you tell them to start, doing frog jump 162. You start to flog them, you start to stroke them to the point that this boy had internal bleeding. And the teachers were not even, they were just on, they behaved like monsters. They were acting like animals. I was speaking to the girls yesterday, and the way they were demonstrating who their teachers were, they were telling us that they don't have teachers. They have monsters. They have animals. Wow. They maltreat them. They bully them. They don't even tell them to cut grasses. They tell them to cut trees. And these children have become rebellious because they realize that the intentions of the teachers are not to correct them or to advocate for them to be better children. They just want to make them animals like they are. You can imagine a young girl of 13 years old saying that. I was shocked. Though I found out that these children too, they do some things that are not really, really right, because you can imagine a student telling me, Auntie, can you imagine our GSS 3 students will come to school with Alomo bitters and our teachers will seize it and they'll be drinking it. Listen, whether you are in the bush or you are in the forest, the world has become a global space and these children are learning so fast. Our children have become professors of crime, and we worry as mothers, as parents, as society. And the consequences of this action, this disparity between the relationship of teachers and students, is bulging down on the society at large.
I wanted to ask you before you move forward, what was the concern from the community leaders? Why were they, what did you get from the Commissioner of Education? Why did they insist on corporal punishment?
The Commissioner of Education vehemently told me that they formed an alliance, brought some youth leaders, the community leaders, traditional leaders. They came to harass him. They called him for a meeting that, how dare you? How dare you give an instruction that students should not be beaten? Then how do we train these children? They confronted him. They had meetings with him.
Is it a public school?
So the school was actually built by the community and taken over by the government.
Okay. I'd like to ask some questions here because this is heart-wrenching, but beyond it being heart-wrenching, we're talking about a situation where headlines in newspapers yesterday said, Kwashiorkor is back, our children are malnourished. Yesterday also was emphasizing, the World Bank said that we have the largest number of out-of-school children in the world in Nigeria. Beyond the malnutrition, as you have very, very well highlighted, these children are hungry, that the economy is hard. But, you did say earlier that, our children are exposed to crime or they're exposed to criminality, but children are a product of the society in which they are in, because they are the most vulnerable in the society which they are in. In our laws, if somebody harms somebody else, puts their hands on somebody else, that is assault, that is battery, that is a crime punishable by law. Is there any law on paper right now, beyond going into getting laws to prevent corporal punishment? Is there any law that says that somebody hitting a child is not assault and is not battery? Why would children be a special class that are allowed to be physically harmed in a way adults are legally protected?
I think all of these laws are in place. The problem is not about the laws. The problem is about enforcing the laws. Right now, the sensitive part of this situation is that it's government versus government, and you know what that means. These are government officials, and then the state is a government school, and then the police is government on its own. So what we're beginning to see an highlight of how they are trying to conspire together to bury this case. The government needs to keep enforcing. You see, there's something I tell the government all the time, that The problem you people have is spending money on advocacy and enforcing the laws that protect our children, their social rights. Feed, Educate, Enlighten, Dignify a Child, my NGO, for years we've been pushing that they need to enforce the respect that these children deserves on them. And that is to tell you that you cannot assault, you cannot maltreat, you cannot dehumanize, you cannot demoralize the mentality of these children. And these children have grown into a society where they are completely abused physically, morally, financially, academically, security-wise, and socially. And the government is disconnected. Dr. Abiodun is concentrating on building roads and all of that. I can tell you for free, I've had more than 20 to 30 cases in Ogun State, and they've all come out on a zero level. There was a case of a child who was sexually assaulted, a 3-year-old case of a child who was sexually assaulted, and they hit nails in this girl's head. And as I speak to you, by the time we rushed this girl to a hospital in Songwater, nothing was done. The only person who has been responsive in the Ogun State cabinet is the First Lady of Ogun State. And that woman is limited in all sorts. We got to the hospital, there were no doctors.
All right,
Lagos State had to bring their own ambulance to take the girl into Ogun State.
Right,
so
we're running out of time. I just wanted to ask you this last final question. What is the next step now? Where is Monday? How are the parents? And what is this? Is there any sort of conversation that you've had with the school at this moment in order to have some sort of
Monday is in the morgue. They've been able to move. Monday slept over in the house. His dead body has been with the parents in the house. And then I told them to take the body to the morgue. They couldn't take the body to FMC morgue because the police refused to give them a police report. So Monday has been taken to the morgue yesterday afternoon. And then they got the information, the government officials got the information that Monday's body was at home. So the government officials were there. They came with soldiers. There were a lot of them who went to the family house yesterday morning, gave them some sort of financial compensation. They gave them some money and lured them to bury the child. And I insisted they shouldn't bury the child. So as we speak, the family, their attitude is also very negative, not encouraging and poor, because they are under a lot of pressure and duress. And they are also worried that their family does not want to bring a name to the whole community, and they don't want to bring attention to the community.
Do you have permission to go public with this story?
With the story?
Yes, the family.
Now, one thing you should understand is sometimes we don't need parental permission to go public with a story because this is a social issue, and then this is an issue that concerns children. So our NGO has a constitutional right to protect any child, even when the parents do not want to protect the child.
And the teacher?
The teachers have absconded. We were told that the teachers have absconded, so none of the teachers has been apprehended by the police. One was told, we heard that one was told, we heard that one is in the police custody, but we've not confirmed that. You know, what we're most importantly concerned about is the family and then the boy. But
I want to just quickly ask, because there's still children in that school right now, so is the school closed? Like, if the teachers have absconded, does that mean that the school has been closed down? Like, you said that there were multiple students who were injured beyond the young boy who sadly has lost his life now. But there's an allegation that there were other students who were injured in this incident. What is the update on them, and what is the update on the school itself? Are they going to school tomorrow morning?
So the update is as at Friday, the whole students went on a riot. The school principal brought Amotekun to arrest the students. After beating them, they still went ahead and arranged for Amotekun to come and arrest the students. The students became rebellious. They attacked the Amotekun people ran away. And the students told me as at yesterday that tomorrow, there would not be school, that they have to shut down the school on their own since the government has refused to come to their aid. The principal is at large. She's been running from one pillar to post, but as we speak, as at Friday, the whole school went into chaos. Some students wanted to burn down the whole school, and then the principal had to run to get Amotekun to come to their rescue. But unfortunately, the students were able to capture the Amotekun people. The Amotekun ran away, and then they brought mobile police and soldiers to surround the whole vicinity of the school.
So this school again, you said is
grammar school,
Idemi. In Idemi. So we would like some, sort of right of reply from that school. Hopefully, we're just putting this out there because we have heard your side of the story, and we hope to hear from the school as well. Thank you very much for your amazing work and your advocacy.